Welcome into the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining me this afternoon as we get you set up for another football weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Gamecock fans excited because they get to get back out on the field after the bye week. Clemson fans thinking, at least by my Twitter feed, that maybe they have an opportunity to get themselves back into the ACC title picture. Maybe there's that. I doubt it, but we shall see. Also, got several other things we're going to get into today, including looking at that South Carolina matchup. Mickey Mouse has killed an ESPN network. We'll tell you which one that is later on. And we'll look at the Florida and South Carolina matchup and what South Carolina has to do to pull off the upset against what used to be the mighty Florida Gators. Now they're the mighty Florida Garbage. It's pretty much where that program is right now. So we'll get into all of that this afternoon here on the Rundown. But I want to start with, we've had talks about the BCS and the CFP. There is a great BCS simulator called BCS Know-How. It's on Twitter at BCS Know-How, so we'll give them credit for that. And if you look at the BCS Know-How, which is actually kind of cool, their number one team is still Georgia. That's pretty much the same across the board. But I thought we'd go over some of the other numbers. At number 2, you've got Cincinnati. So the idea that the BCS would somewhat fix some of this if we went back to it, not so much. I mean, do you really think Cincinnati's the second best team in the country? Check out. Anyway, we'll have to work on our audio feed here in just a moment. But I tell you what, we will take a quick break, and when we come back, we will try to get the show going the way that we normally would, as my sound feed's going kind of silly today. But we'll take a quick break. We come back, we'll have more for you on the Rundown. Of course, you can reach out to us on foxsportsradio1400.com on the website. That's where my blog is. Of course, you can also check us out on Twitter. I'm at Rob Sounds Good. So we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have more for you here on the Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor? Yes, I am.
Yay.
Donor by doing that.
Now she's back to help, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of anything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue. OrganDonor.com. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
All right, it should be better now. There we go. All right, so let's get back to what we're talking about with the BCS. Cincinnati and Alabama. Alabama's at number 2 as far as the CFP poll goes, and then you've got Michigan State at 3 in the CFP, and then Oregon at 4. And with that, you've got a setup with the BCS looking somewhat better than the CFP in some spots, but not so well in the others. So let's look at it from this perspective. when we look at it from this perspective, the BCS simulation from BCS Know-How, follow them on Twitter. They have Cincinnati, Oklahoma, and Alabama as 2, 3, and 4. Georgia is the unanimous number 1. Michigan State is at number 5. Ohio State is at number 6. So interesting there. Let's go out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, this is the Biscuit. How you
What's up,
doing?
buddy? How are you?
Good. Apparently, some of the people on the board think I cursed your microphone or whatever, so I apologize for cursing you.
That's all right.
No, I wanted to touch on a couple of things. One was I'm heading to Athens this weekend to see Georgia play Missouri, and I'm actually more nervous about this game than many of the others you would imagine. And it's not for the reason you probably expect. It's because
why are you nervous about this game? Missouri is terrible.
the reason why I'm nervous about this game is because on the first offensive possession, if I see Stetson Bennett walk onto the field, I'll know Georgia's chances of winning a national championship just reduced by about 30%.
Explain to me why you say that. Because, is the word – because, just to be honest, I don't think Kirby Smart's going to tell us who the quarterback is until he trots the guy out there on Saturday. I mean, do you get a feeling that JT Daniels is healthy, but he's not going to play?
I don't know. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter, though. JT Daniels increases Georgia's chance of winning a national title 2 to 3-fold to me. If Stetson Bennett is our quarterback, can we play a defensive game? And I mean, a lot of I don't know, you call it sores came out in that Florida game. I mean, we had 12 possessions, 2 field goals, 3 touchdowns. One of the touchdowns was an 11-yard. The other was a beautiful pass on the 36-yard pass. That was a great pass. But and then the last was garbage time, a big run by Zeus. Other than that, offensively, we were not productive.
Well, respectfully, why do you think that I think that JT Daniels, when he's healthy, is the better quarterback out of all the quarterbacks on the roster. I'm not throwing that out there, but why in the world is Kirby Smart keeping him on the bench?
I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, I really don't know. Maybe the injury is more severe than I thought. Regardless of the reasoning for JT Daniels being on the field, though, that does reduce our chances of winning the national championship if JT doesn't play. Because he's got to start getting playing time now before we get into the bigger games or into the SEC championship. But why wouldn't he play him? I don't know. He has made some, as you know, this is the one bad spot on his resume. He has made some poor decisions when it comes to the quarterbacking decisions. They haven't worked out. We mock about the whole top 25 thing, but that is this is a damning thing for Kirby Smart, because I think you and I both agree, and you just said it yourself, your chances of winning the national title magnify with JT Daniels at quarterback. So we get to start asking questions like, does Kirby Smart not want to win a national title? That's basically what he's telling us if JT Daniels is healthy, right? Yes, but we don't know for a fact whether he is. If he has a choice between 2 healthy quarterbacks and he chooses Stetson Bennett over JT Daniels, that's certainly a black mark on his resume. I mean, sure. Now, does that mean he's out of the top 25? No, that's absurd, Rob. I mean, that's absolutely absurd.
I'm just saying, when you see things like this, I mean, his record with quarterbacks sucks. I mean, let's just be honest. It's like, wow, especially if we find out that Daniels is healthy. And that's just, it won't matter this weekend.
The total product, though, is that he's 16-14 and 38-9, even with those bad decisions. Yeah, I mean, there have been some poor decisions. The fake punt in the SEC championship game with Justin Fields was ridiculous. But I mean, there's been a lot of good there with it too. But yeah, I mean, this is the one area where he needs to fix it. He definitely needs to fix it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I honestly think that the Mizzou gave up like 250 yards to Vanderbilt on the ground last week. Georgia has some pretty talented running backs. If Bennett has to throw the ball more than 10 times, then turnovers have happened, in my opinion, this week. So I wouldn't worry too much about this week's game.
I'm not worried. Well, like I said, I'm not worried about the game. I'm worried about who steps on the field for Georgia. That's what I'm worried about. I mean, yeah, Georgia could play probably a C game and still win this game. I'm not as concerned about that. If we have problems with Missouri, then there are really other issues. But no, I'm just like I said, I want to see JT Daniels walk out into that field and at least get some reps in before we get to the SEC championship game. Otherwise, I know we're going full board with Stetson Bennett the rest of the way.
Well, we will see how that works out. That's going to be an interesting point for this weekend, man. Hey, I appreciate you calling the show as always, buddy.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks a lot. All
Talk
right,
to you later.
let's go one more call here. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, it's Billy.
Billy, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm not a Georgia fan, but listen to me.
Sure.
Georgia fan, you're winning with a walk-on quarterback. This stuff about getting reps, getting experience. Answer me a question, Rob. Monday through Friday, when Georgia's practicing, name me a better defense that they're facing in practice than they would see on game day. These people face the number one defense in the country Monday through Friday. We don't know how serious JT Daniels is hurt. They're the only ones that know. But they're winning and they're ranked number one. You don't think those quarterbacks on the sideline are ready to go?
I don't know about the other two 5-star guys that are sitting on the bench, because obviously they're not ready to go enough to unseat the as Megan calls him, the Wonder Midget.
I'm telling you, he don't have to use those guys. He's winning with a walk-on.
Yeah.
And the question is, those guys face the best defense in the country Monday through Friday at practice.
Yeah, well, Biscuit made a good point about the offense didn't really they were technically they were outgained by Florida on the ground, even though outgained by Florida overall as far as total yards, even though they won by 27 points. So there's that.
Okay,
too.
they had a bad day. You don't think Kirby had this under? Like I say, I'm not a Georgia fan. You don't think he had this under control? You don't think that if Stetson starts messing up, one of those other guys are coming in?
I would hope so. I mean, if you're a Georgia
Sure.
fan, you would hope that he would have that all worked out. I mean, his record with quarterbacks kind of stinks, though. But
I know,
and
JT, exactly. And Justin Fields isn't any good. Justin Fields isn't any good.
We'll have to see on that. I don't want to get into that. That's kicking up old stuff, and I've got new stuff to kick up this week, man.
Well, no, it's part of this, because if they don't win a natty this year, they're going to go right back to that.
I mean, in reality, let's just be honest. This is Georgia's year. I mean,
it has to be.
It has to be. I mean, Alabama is still Alabama, but they're not Alabama from last year. The rest of their schedule is simple up until the SEC championship game, where they'll play Alabama. The only team I think that can match up with them as far as players go is Ohio State, and Ohio State, I think Georgia can beat them too. So, I mean, it's their year, and and that's the thing too. If they don't win, I don't want Georgia fans upset with me when I'm like, "What's the deal with Kirby Smart? Everything is."
Oh no, it's not going to be. It won't be that, Rob. It'll be our star players wasn't there. They've done that from day one. Day one, even beating the crap out of people. Well, we could have done better. Our starters went in there. I'm telling you, it's not going to be the quarterback. It'll be, we didn't have our star players. You know what? If one or two players is your team, stay home. Stay home. Later.
Thanks, Billy. I know that comment's going to get some people upset, but you can call in and rebut that at 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. I'm just saying, everything's lined up for Georgia, man. I think they can beat Alabama. I think they can beat Ohio State, and whatever other team the CFP sends in there that's going to be a bye week for them. I think they can beat everybody. I'm just saying. So as far as the defense goes and everything else, it should be their thing. All right, let's go back out to the phones one more time. And
please
welcome
don't
into the
hang
rundown.
up.
Oh, don't know what that is. Welcome into the rundown. As they hang up on me. All right, you can call back 803-978-1832. Quick break. When we come back, we'll have more for you on the rundown right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Why is it in favor? Do I have to lay out the good stuff for Georgia? Well, we can do that if you want. I think that Alabama has issues on the defensive side of the ball. You've seen that Alabama's quarterback, by the way, is a wuss. If you watch a lot of Alabama games, he is not very with it at all, in my opinion. Let's see here. What was the other thing with the Georgia schedule the rest of the way? Why is it okay? So Georgia schedule the rest of the way is what you got: Mizzou, Tennessee, Charleston Southern, and Georgia Tech. Anybody think they're going to be favored by less than 17 points in those games? It's laid out for you. You've got one game left as far as the SEC championship game, whoever that is. That'll be a tougher matchup. But after that, you'll be better than, I think you stomp Oklahoma if they're in the top 4. Michigan State's a fraud. Oh, okay. Never mind then, Biscuit. I'm just saying it's all laid out for you. It's right there. You think it's because of Kirby Smart. Okay. Sure, we'll put him in the top 30, Jay. If you guys need that for your soul, have at it. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Back out to the phones we go. And welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Rob, I was recently put on blood pressure medication, and I'll be sending the bill to you in your station. That last phone call, there hasn't been a phone call get me that upset since last week when Farrakhan Jr. decided to call and give us all a big sociology kill Whitey lesson. Billy, you said stay home. Sir, I speak for all Georgia fans. You and your family, right back at you, buddy. Stay home and stay off the phone and stay off the airwaves altogether. The standard, and Biscuit said it best a couple of weeks ago, the standard that you are holding Georgia to is inexplicable. Why are you doing this? As if Georgia can't lose one game for I don't know how many more years, or Kirby Smart is just a total failure. Why are you doing this, sir? You greasy, roly-poly of a cowardly man.
Are you talking to me?
The stance, yes,
No,
the stance you're
talking to
taking here, the stance you're taking here on Georgia about if they, they better win it all. If not, I don't know what they're doing. Look at the position that puts you in, Rob.
Oh, no,
you get to sit back and just wait on Georgia to fail. And then if they don't fail, that's just what I expected anyway. What a cowardly spot.
That's not a cowardly spot, man. It's just what I've seen. You have a great team. I mean, I'm not the one questioning the quarterback here in week 8. Am I doing that, or is the Georgia fan base doing that?
It is Todd Monken's call on who starts. Obviously, JT Daniels still has an issue. I understand it's frustrating. I understand there are certain YouTubers who don't want to act like that's surely what's going on right now, who influence a lot of people who listen to this show, by the way.
Sure.
But obviously something else is going on. I mean, there's a lingering issue, and it's taken forever to heal. I hate it too.
I'm not trying to throw shade at you, but do you think it's like what if it's something like last season where Daniel said he was healthy, but Smart said he wasn't? I mean, we can go and look at that because that was in several different things that I read last year. I mean, what if you think it's something like that?
We must have a bad connection because I thought I heard you say you're not trying to throw shade at me.
I'm not throwing shade at you. I'm just asking you if something like that is happening. That's all.
Yeah, you're just throwing that out there. Is that a possibility, right?
Because it's happened before.
Sir, JT Daniels had a second knee operation, and then he had COVID, which set back his entire rehab process, which is the only reason, and Todd Monken came out and said it during the offseason, that JT Daniels went to the coaching staff and said, hey, listen, I've been cleared to play, but I'm not confident in my knee. Let me play with the scout team for a little while, and that's what they did.
Okay.
That's all there was to it. You cannot tell me there's a coach in America at middle school level up that would look at Stetson Bennett, look at JT, and say, Stetson's our guy, without something else going on. There's no way.
Well, I also wonder, with the 5-star guys that are on the bench, if I just looked at them, I would think that maybe they might be better than Stetson Bennett. Have you thought about that?
The 5-star guys being who?
Who's the backup? What's his name? The backup right now, I can't remember his name.
There is a true freshman. There is a true freshman named Brock Vandergrift, who, by the way, looks like the villain off of the Christmas Story way too much. It makes me highly uncomfortable when I look at that guy. I think Scott Farkas was his name in that movie. He does look just like Scott Farkas. But the plan was for him not to play this year, to redshirt this year. And I don't know if that's going to hold. If obviously they need him bad enough, they'll put him in. And the other guy was not a 5-star. He was a 4-star. He was Carson Beck, who has not looked all that great at all. I don't think there's any Georgia fan out here who would rather have him in there than even Stetson Bennett. He did not look very good.
Can I read you a comment that, since I have you on the phone, I might as well. LW says, offensive coordinators don't make the decision who starts, the head coach does. If Kirby isn't making that decision, that's Kirby's fault. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the defensive guy named Kirby Smart, that's the most ignorant comment I've heard. He said before the season, this is Todd Monken's offense, which means he gave the keys to Todd. Todd Monken's going to come to him and say, look, for what we're going up against this week, this is the guy I need in the game. Period. And he's going to say yes or no. But I mean, that goes on. That the same thing goes on every team across the country every week.
Well, anything else you'd like to yell at me about, sir? You've already called me pudgy today. If I had feelings, you might have hurt them.
Well, considering how hard you come back at me sometimes, I really that doesn't affect me very much, sir. Hey, 43-18, Rob.
I've never hurt your feelings. Get out of here. Go to a support group. Beg and Megan's hurt feelings today. Let's go massage his soul. What's wrong with Beg and Megan? All right, 803-978-1832. By the way, I don't really think that it matters who runs out there at quarterback. I venture to say that I could run out there at quarterback and Georgia wins this weekend. I don't know if I want to like fit my chunky butt into those pants, but it could happen. Hand the ball off because Mizzou's defense is terrible, 123 in the country. And I'm glad the whole battle armor thing has gone away, where coaches announce uniforms and stuff like that. Here's the crazy thing. Mizzou put out their quote unquote, what we're wearing this week video. And it's in reference to Squid Game, which of course is the series on Netflix. If you haven't seen the series on Netflix, it's basically Korean folks that had a lot of debt. They could play a game where, if you survive the game, then you get tons of money, basically. And they basically did that with Mizzou's uniform reveal, where basically they stood on one end zone, they were running to the other, playing red light, green light, and if they moved after red light, the Missouri mascot tackles them. I'll be retweeting that out later. It's pretty silly. The only thing amusing about Mizzou right now is the fact that they use their uniform reveal to prop up a movie where lots and lots of people get killed when they're going to go down to Georgia and get killed. So there's that. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the BCS up against the CFP today, but we can get into that as well. But Ohio State ranked at number 6, Cincinnati up at number 2. So there's that. Michigan at number 7, which they're number 7 in both. Notre Dame at 8, Oregon at 9, Wake Forest at 10. They're at 9 in the CFP. Oklahoma State at 11, Baylor at 12, Auburn at 13 in both polls, Texas A&M at 14, Ole Miss at 15. Mississippi State gets the prop up here in the in the CFP, but not in the BCS. Kentucky holds tight at 18. UTSA, not ranked in the CFP. They're at number 17 in the BCS. And then it goes down from there. Coastal Carolina is at 23rd. SMU at 24. Very interesting. When I look at this, though, I think that it kind of favors the Big 12 a little bit, in my opinion, with Oklahoma moving up from 8th to 3rd. So there's that. Interesting stuff there. And I'm going to follow this throughout the season. Shout out to the folks at on Twitter at BCS Know How, as each week they're putting out what the BCS would look like compared to what the CFP has. Last season, the BCS got it exactly right as far as they were in line with what the CFP did. The same 4 teams were in the CFP as it would be in the BCS, according to the simulator that they have at BCS Know How on Twitter. So good stuff from them. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more for you here on the rundown. Some of the comments from over in the chat room are hilarious. John, the Ohio State fanboy, water boy, whatever it is you want to call him, says he thinks that me, Biscuit, Hollywood, Megan, and Bobby from Casey should replace Corso and the whole game day cast. Thank you for that, sir. We are entertaining individuals. The problem that we'll have in that is that Megan is like a wide receiver prima donna. He'll want more money than everybody else. The rest of us will all be team players. Megan will want probably 3 times the set of what we would get in a normal episode there. So that generally probably would not work. I mean, Biscuit and I would keep the thing on the air. Bobby from Casey would make sure we had plenty of great stats and everything else. But Megan would say silly things and would want 3 times of what everybody else is getting, and we'd be doing all the work. So that's why that would not work. Sorry. 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us on the rundown. More when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Oh, you guys want a shirt explanation? This is a Tomahawk Chop Brave shirt. That's what that is. It's an old school, and I've had it forever. And I wanted to wear it, but I forgot. I had it in my my storage bin because I just haven't. I forgot that I had it, or I can't remember. Maybe the wife had it and she wore it. I don't remember. But the back of it is, of course, the Braves A, and the front of it are instructions on how to tomahawk chop. Because screw the people that say the tomahawk chop is bad. If I have one more person on Twitter send me a direct message saying I should be more sensitive to the tomahawk chop thing, I may quit Twitter. Not that it's an airport and I should announce my coming and going, but I can't deal with all that nonsense. You want reimbursement for your blood pressure medication? That's not my fault. Come on, man. Now, I've had 3 people say something about the whole. One guy's like, I'm going to stop listening to your show. I thought you were an open-minded. I'm like, open-minded about what? You know, Deion Sanders started the tomahawk chop, if I remember correctly. So there's that. Twitter's insane. They tell us, like, we have research and stuff, and they're like, hey, you know what? That's the way to reach out to sports fans is on Twitter. Okay. Okay, then. I stopped trying to gather followers on Twitter. It sucks. That's funny. Frustrating, man. Because like there's metrics and stuff they want us to meet like on our social stuff, and it's like, yeah, I'm not even bothering. Not even bothering with Twitter. When they ask me about it, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Out to the phone we go. Jesse joins us. Jesse, what's up, man?
Not much. Just calling to see what what do you think about the Clemson Carolina game coming up?
It's a long way off. I
know. Really.
Yeah, it's a long way off. So I got to. If you asked me if they were going to play this week, I think Clemson would win. I don't know who South Carolina's quarterback is yet, and to be honest, I don't know.
Me neither.
I don't know if Shane Beamer knows who his quarterback is yet, and that's not mocking Shane Beamer. It's just that he doesn't know how healthy Zeb Nolan is. So it's kind of hard to look ahead to that much. But if you had to say, hey, Rob, tell me who you think is going to win today, I would go with Clemson because I think the Clemson defense is good enough to, as long as Clemson scores their 17 points, I think Clemson will win regardless. So,
yeah, we struggle to score 17, but I think that we can.
Boy, that's some positive things there. Remember back in the day when Clemson would score like 17 in the first quarter? Now it's like, hey, let's get 17 in the game, and we've done something. It's ridiculous.
You're very true.
All right, man.
Even with Tommy Bowden, we were still scoring more than 17 points for a whole game.
Yeah, it's pretty much there, man. It's the offense for Clemson is in the toilet, and I'm
very
tired
much
of
so.
folks telling me, they'll come out.
What is the reason why we're in the toilet?
Well, that's
what do you think?
That's to be determined. I don't think that Tony Elliott forgot how to coach after last season, where the offense was out there. Now there are folks that are telling me, Trevor Lawrence would check out of plays at the line and everything else, but I don't buy into that. I think it's a combination of things. I think it's offensive line protecting the quarterback. I think it's not having Travis Etienne. I think that Uiagalelei is probably more on the overrated front. I think that's fair to say. And, to be honest, they don't have a true slot receiver. I mean, they've been spoiled so long with Hunter Renfrow and Amari Rodgers and guys like that are really good, true slot receivers. They don't. And really
even when we have good receivers, they drop the ball.
Yeah. That's but they don't have that good slot receiver that the quarterback can make a quick read to, and they can throw a pass and get 6 or 7 yards and end up in 2nd and 4 instead of 3rd and 8. So little things like that.
I just want to make this kind of slightly apparent. I could be roasted in the comments and all that, but It seems like over the past couple seasons, we have not really acknowledged the fact that we get behind on third down. Basically, we'll be getting on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 6, or something like that. And we have in the previous seasons, we've had Travis Etienne, and Trevor Lawrence. Both of them know how to make a first down.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what the down and distance is. You can rely on that capability, and now that that's gone, we're seeing that we can't even pick up a first down.
Good point, man. Hey, I got to move on, but I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Jesse with some comments on the Clemson offense, which is hot dog water terrible. Megan says you're in the toilet because your coach isn't a top 25 coach. Watch this, Megan and the rest of the folks that get upset. That is your opinion. You are entitled to it, sir. Good for you. You strung together thoughts. Congratulations. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeart Radio app. I've got some notes for the South Carolina and Florida game here, what South Carolina has to do to win. But before that, Mickey Mouse has killed an ESPN channel. We'll do this now before we go to break. You know, growing up, I used to like to watch ESPN Classic. ESPN Classic is no more. John Orand of the Sports Business Journal reported that Disney, which is Mickey Mouse, by the way, is planning on shutting down ESPN Classic on January the 1st. Now, that not only does that include the channel, which a lot of packages don't have, but it also the on-demand service. So, what a mess. What a mess when you think about that. I liked ESPN Classic. I like watching I tell you what I liked it for, though. I liked watching the old boxing matches. Yeah, that's what I liked. But no more ESPN Classic. Thank you, Mickey Mouse. Thank you for that. Look, we can have an entire conversation about things that are wrong with ESPN, like the fact that they try to make sports political, which in reality, no one wants that. How about this? How about you take all of those folks that are trying to make political messages that you have as commentators? Why don't you fire them and save that money? And then you could put that into ESPN Classic so I can watch boxing matches on Sunday afternoon. Let's try that, ESPN. I give you that advice for free. You're welcome to hit up my Venmo at Robin Stuff if you would like to pay me for that, because it could end up saving you money, because I guarantee you that in the end, the average folk, they're more likely to watch your classic boxing matches on a Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, whatever, than to watch hey, let's have social messages every day on Sports Center. Just get rid of those commentators, bring the people back in that are going to give us the scores, and maybe tell us, we can have conversations about how South Carolina could win this weekend. Let's have conversations like that instead of trying to change the world through sports. Let's try that. That would probably work out well. Anyway, no more ESPN Classic. Thank you, Mickey Mouse. That sucks. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you would like to join us here on the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 as we say goodbye to ESPN Classic. Megan with another comment today. He must have ate his Wheaties this morning with his blood pressure medicine. I liked ESPN Classic because it reminded me of 1980. He's still wearing that Blondie retro t-shirt. Sure he is. More of the Rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. I agree with you there, Megan. That's why I don't like talking politics at all. At all. When you do a show like this, the only thing that you could, I don't care if you know about me. You can know that I have children. You can know that I have a wife. I'm fine with all that. You can know who my favorite team is. But you shouldn't know how I vote. And you know what? I don't give a care how you vote. I don't care how you vote either. We could just get together as sports fans and do our thing. ESPN is killing our country on that front because they're making everything political. Everything. And it sucks. That's why I don't watch Sports Center anymore, man. Can't do it. Exactly. I don't care that I honestly don't care how you vote. Don't care. In fact, if you start talking to me about how you vote, I'm going to tune you out. I just don't care. Cody asked me, what do I think about the South Carolina recruiting class for next year? It depends on how Shane Beamer finishes out. I think they're in the top, 20, I believe. So they're right there. So he needs to recruit offensive linemen, wide receivers, and quarterbacks. But I think he's going to go transfer portal for quarterback. So we'll see how that works out there, Cody. Blake, that's fair. Or they could figure out why Tennessee can stuff money into McDonald's bags and get away with it, and no one would care. That's pretty much what it boils down to, because if they're putting it in McDonald's bags, that's pretty much giving up. South Carolina, even with when Muschamp was here, they had, except his first season when he got started late, they got pretty decent recruiting classes. Wasn't that far off. Switch up your personal or business phone number in less than 3 minutes with the Switch Up app. Get all the benefits of having a separate phone number without having to manage and pay for a second phone. Switch Up is building spam protection, unlimited calling and texting, automated replies, and custom voicemail. It's all about the work-life balance. Find out more at GetSwitchUp.com. Download today and get 40% off your first year of Switch Up. Learn more at GetSwitchUp.com. Final segment of the rundown here on a Thursday. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we get back at it with our picks for the weekend and our best Gamecock coverage tomorrow night after South Carolina and, Saturday night. Man, my brain's whacked out here. Jack to get back in the studio with Justin Hall and former Gamecock wide receiver Tim Frisbee. We will break down the South Carolina and Florida game for you on Saturday night. You can watch that show, by the way, on the 103.5 FM Facebook page and their Twitter page. I'm sorry. So you can watch it on both Twitter and on Facebook. So follow that, because it is, regardless of what happens, Gamecock fans show up and we get some raw response for some folks. It's going to be an interesting game, because the line for Florida is 20? But this is one of those games where South Carolina could, I'm not saying they have a chance to win, but, if they go out and sock Florida in the nose in the first quarter, it could get interesting. Anthony Richardson hasn't been practicing much down there. He's had some concussion issues. So it looks like Emory Jones is going to be the quarterback. For South Carolina to win, a couple of things have to happen. One, we use the term milk carton around here. Kevin Harris has been on a milk carton. Last year's leading SEC rusher hasn't been exactly that this year. And I'm not knocking the guy. I'm just saying I think we expected more out of him. Now, I think he's dealt with some injuries with his back, but Kevin Harris coming out and helping South Carolina control the ground game, along with Juju McDowell and Zakondre White. South Carolina's had some, when you look at their running back room and you look at it in a vacuum, they've got some talent there. So we'll see how that works out for them. They got to come out, control the ball, and basically hope that Florida has packed it in. Which, if you read some of the stuff that's on social media and everything else, you wonder if they're still following Dan Mullen down there. We'll find out on Saturday. We will definitely find out. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number to call. We'll also have our picks tomorrow against the spread, as I said. My one lock of the week is Oklahoma State playing at West Virginia. West Virginia is getting 3 points at home. I think Oklahoma State wins that game by like 15. So there you go with that. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. The chat room is making fun of me today, saying I prefer cream of wheat. Thank you for that, Alan. Rick says I look like a man that eats avocado toast. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening at all. I can't read Jay's comment, but it's actually really funny. Yeah, so there's that. 803-978-1832. Biscuit says he likes Arkansas over Mississippi State. Yeah, I can get into that. I kind of like Auburn. -6.5. I think they'll cover, but I don't think they'll win, but I think it'll be close. Began says he wouldn't put money on Florida or South Carolina due to the unknown. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be for South Carolina. So it's kind of hard for me to say, you know what, let's put some money down on it when I don't know who's going to be throwing the ball. And, and respectfully, I don't think Shane Beamer knows either. I think he wants to start Zeb Noland. He may end up going with Jason Brown or Colton Gauthier, the young freshman. Either way, it's going to be an uphill battle for South Carolina. They're going to have to lean on those running backs a lot, an absolute lot. Makes you think about something, too. If Mike Bobo had stayed here and they were more in the Mike Bobo frame of mind as, we're going to set up some runs and, use a fullback and all of that stuff, if the South Carolina offense would be a little bit better off. So there's that. We can talk about that tomorrow, too. Blake says he could buy Arkansas over Mississippi State as well. I wonder with the Pirate down there, he can get some stuff done, but their offense is I think one of the top passing offenses in the SEC. They finished near the bottom in rushing, but I think I read that Mississippi State is number 2 in the SEC in total defense. I read that the other day. I could be wrong on that. I'm sure producer Biscuit will correct me if I'm wrong about that. But as far as total yards on defense, 1 is Georgia, 2 is Mississippi State, and 3 is Alabama. So Mississippi State is winning games, but they're not doing it with their offense. They're playing pretty good defense. So there's that. We'll have to see how that works out. And I wonder if, Sam Pittman, everybody was on fire with Sam Pittman as the way that they started. And then they played Georgia, and they really haven't been the same ever since. So I wonder if maybe the schedule's toughened up. We shall see. David's acting silly. He likes LSU over Alabama. David's being silly, silly, silly. All right, so we'll have that for you tomorrow on the rundown. In addition to I had something else tomorrow. I can't remember what it was. Oh, later on in the season, Levon Kirkland, former Clemson All-Pro and All-Decade player in the NFL from the 90s, played with the Steelers. He's going to join us on the air, talk some football with him. It's so cool to talk with somebody who's actually, played at the college level, played in the pros, was a very, very dominant linebacker there for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then coached as well. He coached with Bruce Arians at Arizona. So he's been a guy that is very, very knowledgeable and just a nice guy too. So we'll have Levon Kirkland on with us probably next week. We're going to work on that. Also, the folks from the Mazodcast join us next week as well, as I'm setting that up, as they will help preview South Carolina and Mizzou, which may be the best chance for both teams to get a win next week. So not moving too far ahead. Gamecocks play Florida this week. Mizzou's going for the death march, the Squid Game march down to Athens on Saturday. So, yeah, looking forward to all of that. Also looking forward to the Kentucky and Tennessee matchup this weekend. I wonder how Tennessee's going to come out. Is that tempo going to bother Kentucky? Is Kentucky a fraud like we've been talking about? We'll see. We'll see on that. All right, don't forget, we have Lawton Swan from Clemson Sports Talk. He is the czar of Clemson Sports.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Follow him on Twitter at Clemson Sports. I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Lots and lots of Braves content, which seems to irritate folks. I'm still going to tweet about the Braves. They're the world champions. The Houston Cheaters are not. Sorry if that hurts your feelings. We will see you tomorrow here on The Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Hey, you guys are awesome over there. Appreciate y'all, man. I get your yards per play thing, and we can debate that at another point, Biscuit. It does make sense. All right, guys, we'll see you later on. Thank you very much. You guys make my show a lot better. Thanks so much.